All right, what is up, friends and fellow anti-netters? It is Scott Scheper here, coming to you on a Friday at 12:19 post meridian. Now, last night I had the pleasure and opportunity of doing another one-on-one coaching session with a fellow anti-netter, and this guy is awesome. He has been essentially what I learned. He's been tuning into the channel from the very beginning, the incipient stages, and he's uh, turned into a information science and knowledge science, paper machine geek like I have turned into, and a lot of our other fellow anti-netters have turned into, and he has. It looks like he's. What he told me is he would, freeze frame and all the books on my floor, and then, he picked up a few of them, and actually he gave me a few. As always in these sessions, I always get amazing book recommendations, and I've picked up a few that he recommended me to pick up in this upcoming one-on-one coaching session. Now, I love doing these one-on-one coaching sessions of Antinet, teaching the Antinet and how to get it set up, because you end up seeing and learning more and more uh, tools, tactics, ideas. And this individual, his name is Dele, and that's Dele, and he makes use of colored pens for actually mapping out his ideas and thinking through things. And I think a lot this video will actually resonate with you, because he actually set things up and he had it in a good state, his Antinet in a good state. However, he was waiting off to actually create his main notes and main box and index box until we had our one-on-one session, our one-on-one call. And you're going to be able to see it and see how he does his bib cards and bib notes. And anyway, I had a ton of fun. I did this one-on-one coaching session last night, and I'm going to kick into things real quick. But just before I go, I just want to say I want you to take away one more thing from this video, and that is that it is just so awesome for me and humbling how many people that this is reaching. We're talking about a system right here. As you can see, the Antinet, which is the old school original instantiation of the Zettelkasten that Nicholas Luhmann used. And for some reason, it is a fringe category and a niche within a niche within the Zettelkasten community, which is essentially turned into this like digital hyperlink note-taking app community. Everyone gets obsessed with everything besides actually developing your thoughts. And I think the whole point of the system and a note-taking system is to actually develop your thoughts, evolve your thoughts in the long term. And I just really think it's awesome to see our community grow. And yeah, anyways, I just wanted to I don't know, say that, and I think you'll be able to tell the same thing and have the same takeaway once you watch this video. So this video, I think, is it's for both those that are brand new to the Zettelkasten and really brand new to the Antinet, maybe those that are really new in their journey. I think this will be a good video that will show you and teach you how to get your Antinet up and running. And I also, in bits and pieces in this video, we talk about a lot of really cool concepts in information science and knowledge science and really good book recommendations. And we touch on a lot of really cool stuff. So anyways, I'm going to kick things into the video right now. And thanks for tuning in. And, let's create a movement. Let's create a movement to make America think harder. And let's call our acronym MATH. Oh, wait, never mind. I think a candidate has already done that before. Anyways, let's just make a community to actually develop our thoughts, think harder, write on paper, and do things the old way, the hard way, the best way, the only way, the Antinet way. Anyways, I'm gonna kick things off right now. As you can tell, I'm pretty excited, and yeah, if you haven't yet, please hit the like button and subscribe button so that we can continue growing this community of people that are building their brain and building their mind using pen and paper. Anyways, peace and love. Talk to you later. I'm going to kick things off to the interview now. Bye. All right. Well, hey, everyone. We have Dele here, and we were just getting into it. Dele, why don't let's just kind of, I guess, pick back up of where we started here. And we haven't really even gotten into the introductions yet, but I mean, we kind of did. We kind of touched upon it, but why don't you recap for me? I mean, you were just telling me about how you're you're a teacher, and how you just like myself, like both of us, you went down one rabbit hole, and before you knew it, you were in the Obsidian land, and then the Notion, and then you stumbled upon the Antinet, and
Yes, sir.
the source of it all, like
Yes,
the
sir.
Nicholas Luhmann's original note card note box system. So but yeah, why don't we kind of pick things up of where we just kicked things off, because it's funny, it's like I've done a few of these calls now, and
Yes,
I
sir.
always find like the best stuff happens before we even start rolling, like, and I'm like, oh man, I wish everyone else had seen that. And we
Right.
don't have to like we don't have to include all of this. I don't know, we'll just I can maybe edit some of it, but I love just getting it rolling, just so that we can capture the good stuff, and we don't have to like repeat it, and later
Right.
on. So yeah.
So my name is Dele. I'm an athletic director, a teacher, an entrepreneur, or an edupreneur in that space. A year ago, I started a company called MIMC Company, which the goal was to enhance the non-cognitive skills of kids in all neighborhoods and all ethnicities. During the pandemic, there was a lot of depression with kids. There was a lack of the human consistency between one another. Kids became so even more socially awkward than they already might have been in this era. So I said, how can I help? How can I help this with this distance learning model? And so I started doing Zoom calls one-on-one with clients, parents. They gave it their blessing. I would spend about 45 minutes to an hour with kids, and I would teach them how to do things like mind maps and going through study skills. And I
Interesting.
just started reading more books than I ever had in the past
Hmm.
10 years. The past year, I would say I've read 30 books. The previous 10 years to that, I might have read 5 books.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I read a lot of articles, and
So
I've
your
always
your
and
your
I was
brain is buzzing. You're in like reverberation mode. You're like
correct,
seeing the matrix.
correct,
Everything is
correct,
connecting and
correct.
coming together.
Correct, correct. And I thought that was weak on my behalf. I still was learning. I just wasn't reading and finishing books.
Hmm.
But definitely the past 4 months since I've been coming across your videos, I at the first time that I came across one of your videos, I was deep and heavy into Obsidian, Notion, specifically Obsidian. I had
Hmm.
the web looking like the universe and the
Yeah.
nebula, and I had
Everything
all,
connected.
yes,
All the
sir,
the
yes, sir.
cute
But
bubble graphs of
it
everything.
didn't something. It looked good, and I was trying to talk myself into, yeah, this is excellent. But I'm like, but this isn't how Nicholas Luhmann was doing it, though. I would love to know what it felt like to do it the analog route, like
Hmm.
the bare bones route, and really just get that feeling. And one day I tried to retrieve my notes, and for whatever reason, Obsidian was tweaking that morning. And
Hmm.
I'm like, what? I got like 400 notes on there. You mean to tell me that I could have just lost it all just like that? I'm like,
Hmm.
nah, I can't go that route. So I started watching your videos, and I was like, you know what? This guy's on to something.
I
He's
love it.
passionate. He's passionate, and
Yeah.
he's enthusiastic. You can tell he's well researched. And I'm like, you know what? He's doing what I'm doing in my apartment. He's doing
Hmm.
what I'm doing. And I'm like, well, he might be a little bit further along. Let me watch, because I always want to keep a humble, teachable spirit, and you've taught me so much. So I have couple of books that I've been going down the lane. These DK books,
Uh-huh.
like premium diaries.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, what is
Yeah.
that? Is that's like the history
The
of
history
like
of
commonplace books?
the best commonplace and diaries and notebooks in history.
Oh,
It's
wow.
it's a visual.
Interesting.
Yes, sir. Big book.
Yeah.
The
I
big
haven't
book.
heard of that one.
I've been looking at your book list. I've been pausing. I've been taking little
Yep.
snapshots. Like,
Yep. Yep.
okay, I need that book.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
I know you
yes,
know
you
this
got that
one.
one.
I know
That
you
one
know
is
this one.
mind blowing, man. That one that introduces you to so much more stuff. It's just
Yes,
like,
sir.
yeah. Have you
This book
have
right here. Doesn't
Uh-huh.
even have a cover, but it's
Which one
called
is that?
Human Information Retrieval.
Oh, interesting. I haven't even heard of that. Man, you're going way down the rabbit hole too. I love it.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
crazy, crazy journey, huh?
This your guy,
Oh, yes.
Richard
I
Yeo.
yep. I just added that one. I think I added it to my save for later in my cart because
Hmm.
I have a stack, as you've seen, so many of them.
Yes,
All right.
sir. Yes,
Right.
sir.
Yeah. That one's on John Locke, I believe, the
Yep.
Richard Yeo one. Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Enabling knowledge creation.
Man,
I've been going deep into some of these, man.
you are down the rabbit hole. I love it.
You know this one.
Yes. Yes. Yep. I have got that one on my. Have you read that one yet? Have you started
I
reading that
am
one?
probably in the first chapter. So
Okay.
I'm reading like 30 books at the same time.
Yeah. Well,
And I'm on audio books for when I'm driving.
nice.
So
Yeah.
I have to take like audio notes
Yeah.
when I'm driving and then transfer them over
Yeah.
to my
You are
bib
you're
notes.
you are not in the information fire hose. You're in the knowledge fire hose. You're in the deep stuff, which is where you want to be.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
I love it. Um, wow. I'm blown away and humbled. I mean, you were right that you were right here with me on this journey.
You've inspired me. You've inspired me
Yeah.
because I'm like,
It
man, somebody else is just as passionate and he's even
yeah.
further along.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how, like, I maybe you've seen this from the Forgetting Machines book,
Yes, sir.
just how rich the history is, and it's even more fascinating, like these paper machines that people are creating out of their minds, and like, history's brightest thinkers, right? Like using pen and paper, like Einstein didn't need some, obsidian or any
Right. Right.
digital program. Neither did the best thinkers. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, we're kind of like in this frontier of resurrecting the paper-based thinking machines, a little bit, but I think it's something that is going to catch on just based on results, and it's going to be less of a fringe little niche of what we're doing here. So it's awesome to see that you're diving into it as well.
Yes,
It's really
sir.
cool.
Yes, sir. So this
Yeah.
is the book that I wanted to go over with you today when we did
Okay.
get into it. It's called Summarizing in Any Subject.
Okay.
And as you're making bibliography notes or main notes, what better than a book that will teach you how to best summarize and get the pure essence out of every sentence, every paragraph, every page. So I have not completed this book. I've just started to delve into it,
Yeah.
but I've already
Okay.
came
I love
across
it. I
a
love it.
passage that
Yeah.
I was going to read. Let me see. Got these little things. I don't mark up the books,
Hmm.
but I will put a flag next to
Yep.
important information, and I can write my things on them. I have some bigger ones. I have I put stickers on my little Antinet boxes. This is my bookmark right here.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Okay, cool. So we got a good subject area to dive into. And then yeah, I'd love to, maybe we can structure this like this, is like, why don't you take me through, and I think it would be cool for the audience to see as well, your current Antinet, what it looks like, give an overview of where you're at with stuff. Um and then we can dive in to the actual workflow of, reading and extracting information, using like the bib card and the bibliography cards, and using that book. um and real quick before we get into it, Deli, it's like, is it just sounds awesome with what with what you're doing, and I think it sounds like, once you master this or pick this up, this is like a system you can then teach to your students as well.
definitely.
Hell yeah.
Definitely. I would assume that it would be something that not all students would be able to grasp and roll with.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
as a teacher, learning how to make things relevant to students. Now, if it's something that they're interested in, they're all ears. So you
Yeah.
just have to make it digestible and palatable for a
Yeah.
kid. Like Richard Feynman Can you explain something to a 5-year-old? Can you explain it
Exactly.
to an 11-year-old? How about a high school or a college kid, an expert? If you can explain it on different levels, cognitive levels, then you really understand something. But
Yeah,
if you
absolutely.
cannot, then you do not know it as well as you think you do. So
Yeah.
I really had started with mind maps before coming to this.
Mm-hmm.
And what mind maps and Tony Buzan taught me is that of course, people see things visually. So starting with a blank page, if you can fill out a paper and visually create icons and images and placeholders and different stems, this is, it's hierarchical.
Mm-hmm.
So you might start with a picture. If we were talking about the Antinet, let's say in the middle, we would put a picture of Nicholas Luhmann or a picture of what your Antinet looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would have one of the components of an anti-net might be the tree-like structure. So you would have little branches that come out visually. You would draw it, or you could, graphic designer could do it even more fancy.
Yep.
But this is my bibliography box right here.
Nice. Yeah. Let's see that. Show that off.
So you're familiar with this? This is from one of your
Oh,
videos.
nice. Yep. I
Sir.
swear, I think being able to draw stuff out like that, and I think is the biggest area of potential and growth, for this whole thing. It's like it really takes things to the next level.
These are my 1,000 to 5,000 cards.
Yeah. Okay.
Got a clip on them for right now. I have
Nice.
not delved into them. I said I was going to wait till we met to figure out exactly how that process should go.
Yep.
These are my A1 to Z cards.
Yeah.
Right
So that's
here.
like the index
Yes,
ones.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I got these that I was able
Okay.
to just label that way, but I also have my main box, the deep stuff, got the
By
big
the way,
red.
I love all the stickers on all of them.
It's the deep
it
box right
it
there.
adds the personality to it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I got the A through Z's in here as well.
Okay. In the main box.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We're gonna rearrange these, by the way.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. And then you have the index box too.
The index box. And I also have my A through. Oh, you can't see it. Got my A through C's in here too.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's basically the index.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's rock and roll. How do you want to do this? So one option is we just dive straight into going through that book that you outlined and create like a bib card for it, and then we go from there. The other option is that we reorganize those three boxes and get them prepped and ready.
Okay.
I think the first thing we should do is let's reorganize those boxes, and get everything prepped and ready, and then we can
I have
dive.
I have not done any main notes yet. I just have a
Okay,
bunch
cool.
of bibliography cards. I said, you know what, I'm gonna wait till my session with Scott. So I really have a firm grasp on how I want my main notes box to look and build
Okay.
it out from there.
Oh, you do or you don't?
I do not have
Oh,
main
okay.
notes
Yeah, cool.
completed yet. I
All right.
have a mental concept. I have a mental map of how I
Yeah.
want that to look.
Yeah.
I definitely have the concept down, but I have not completed any yet. I have
Yeah.
not numbered them yet.
Yeah, gotcha. Oh, gotcha. That's why. That's why the A, the arts and humanities and stuff like that. Yeah,
For
you haven't
blank.
numbered them yet.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, cool. Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's pull out the bibliography box and then let's just get that set up first.
All right. I got my
Okay.
A through Z's.
Cool. And then do you have the cards? Show me some of the cards look like for that.
I have white cards. I also have colored cards.
Yeah. Show
So
me.
I do have lined and I have unlined.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Show me one of the cards. Let's see what it looks like.
With information on or a blank one?
With information on.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've actually been going through and doing bib cards basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
All right. So here's one.
Okay.
The name of the book is called The Consulting Bible.
Okay.
By
Nice,
Alan
by
Weiss. Yes,
okay,
sir.
cool. Nice. You're killing it. You got the goal there and the
Yes.
overview.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a game changer.
Yes, sir.
All right. So yeah, and then you basically you put that in the W. Okay.
Correct.
Cool. All right. So you've got the bib, the bib card down. Nice. Okay. And basically you have not yet converted these into main notes yet.
I have not converted them to main notes yet. I said that I will wait till our session to do all of that.
Good.
I
That's where the most
also had
fun
already
happens.
read How to Read a Book by Mortimer Adler, end to end. So
end to end. That's a great one.
When you started saying about goal for reading the book, I was right with you.
Cool. And then the overview is basically like what he talks about, the X-ray. I think he calls it X-raying books. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, your bibliography box is basically built out and done. You're primed and ready. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So let's go look at the main box right now.
Okay.
So how do you plan or envision, like what was your plan for the main box?
I'm starting a online course, and all of the main notes will be going towards my online course material. I also aspire to write a book or two in the upcoming years. Just like your precious lady, I want to enroll in a PhD program in the next couple of months. Yeah. So I feel like the Antinet Zettelkasten is like there's no better way, because that's my lane. But I'm only buying books that I'm interested in and things that I feel like I don't know as much as I want to know about. So I'm trying to buttress weaknesses or areas of improvement, and, while still feeding my interests. So I'm not reading anything I'm not interested in, but I'm reading things that I need to grow. Yeah,
which it's good because the that's kind of basically how the Antinet is structured around the disciplinary fields. It's like I've got so many categories, and things in there that I haven't developed so deeply, but they're in there because I'm interested in them. I wanted them to ruminate in there for when I really do want to dive into an actual project, right? Like my book on the Antinet, is my category 4214, which is like filling up the entire cabinet over there, right? And then there's a lot of other categories that are only a few cards, but they could emerge into something like that later on. But I think what I think we should do with the main box is, why don't we install those? You know how you have the arts and humanity
Yes.
1000.
Yes, sir.
Why don't we start numbering those and putting those in there?
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see what I want to see those.
I use these colored Sharpies because I just like to think in color.
Yeah.
It gets, for me, it gets monotonous to see the same color over and over again.
Yep.
When I
Yep.
see them in color, it's like even more neural imprinting. Like I remember
Oh, for
writing that
sure.
note. I definitely
Yeah.
remember writing that
Yeah.
note.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's why I love using colored cards too. You know, it's
Yes,
just
sir.
like some things that I draw out. I'm like, oh yeah. And then like even the cards that like, yeah, it's just like you know where to navigate in the box to find them. Like, you know,
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
yeah, it's called I think it's called external context in the science
Mm,
of human memory. It adds even more context to your thoughts. You know, it's something that Obsidian doesn't have.
right. No, no,
You
no.
know, it's like everything gets watered down into you know, digital
So my
fonts. Yeah, let's
arts
see that.
and humanities, this would go into my main box
Yes,
or my
yes,
index box. Okay, my main
your
box.
main box.
Yeah.
Now, you've put it in the top, you know, left corner, you know, like that. But where I file it and where like Lumen files it, it's like I think you know this too, is you know, in the main box, you put them in the top right.
Mhm.
Lumen put his in the top left. I always just like to use mine in the top right because it's out of the way. So
Okay.
you've written yours like up here. I think the
Mhm.
first thing we should do is put them right here. So put that
Fantastic.
number, where is it? 1000.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let's
So I
install it
could.
up here. Uh, yeah, right there. Yeah. 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 So this is your first main note.
Yes,
It's
sir.
exciting. We
Yes,
should-
sir. I'll take it.
okay. And then what do we have behind that?
So behind 1,000 arts humanities, I have 2,000 social sciences.
Yep. Yeah, let's do the same thing for all of them.
Oh,
And then we're going to put them in the main box. I think what we'll do is go through and start developing some main notes
yes,
in
sir.
this. Yeah.
Natural sciences, 3,000.
Yep.
Same deal. Formal sciences, 4,000.
Yep.
And applied sciences, 5,000.
Yep. I was just writing this section in the book today about
Mhm.
you know, basing the classification system on Wikipedia. I just find it to be the best and all encompassing one. You know, the cool part is you know, no classification system is necessarily perfect, which is why
Right.
like the index adds like a second layer. You know, it's like a second layer map onto
Right.
your knowledge where you can like surf in between it, you know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your book too, sir.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will be one of the first.
Yeah.
I'll be one of the first to read that thing.
Yeah.
I know you got some good, great content in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a
Yeah, I
lot.
can't wait to share it with you and everyone, you know. And
Yes.
yeah, I love also having these sessions, you know,
Mhm.
with you, because I can so easily, I think we all can, especially, you know, reading that Forgetting Machines book.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's so fascinating too, but we can get sucked into the theory so much, you know, and
Yeah.
it's so much fun. But then like I love teaching this and like getting back down to the, you know, applied level of this stuff too, and bouncing in between, you know, because
Mhm.
it's like it's I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it really is, the system really is. And the guy that I talked to last week, you know, it's a really powerful thing. And like, you know, for me, like I have ADHD, and like
Hmm.
it's easy for me to get lost in tabs and like information and all that stuff. And it's like just by like writing stuff down and using the system, it allows me to
Hmm.
just really get into deep thought, and it's a game changer. So I think it's
I'm
going to be awesome for you to have in your toolkit. You're going to be able to like see with the kids that you teach. Some of them are not going to be ready at all, for the fullness of the system, but
right.
some are going to be ready for at least like the bib notes and literature notes
Oh
part,
yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
writing by hand, the power of that.
Mhm.
So it's really exciting
Definitely.
stuff. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I have a 2-year-old. So when my
Oh,
son was
oh,
born, yeah,
wow.
my
There you
son was
go.
born November of 2019. So
Yeah.
having a kid born, that was it's like, man, I got to leave a legacy.
Oh, yeah.
If anything was to happen, I need my son to know everything that I found important,
Yeah.
for him to know.
Yeah.
So like the
I know.
Antinet is like perfect.
Yeah. Especially. Yeah. Yeah. He'll be able to, even the stuff that you don't develop, into like, I'm sure you're going to have not just one book, but full, like multiple things down,
Yes,
he'll be
sir.
able to carry on your legacy by going through like what they call lumens, his Zettelkasten, they call it, the backstage,
Mm,
of his thoughts and mind, so it's cool. Your son can one day
yes,
peruse your
sir.
your
Yes,
own
sir.
Antinet and
It,
and carry forth the torch.
it's destiny, Scott. I have a younger brother. He's actually turning 21 this year. Lives in Freiburg, Germany.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh, interesting.
I've been shooting him screenshots from Lumen's
No
archive. And
way.
yeah,
Yes.
I've
I,
been getting the
I
feedback. What does this say? Translate this for me. Translate. Oh, no
Yep.
problem. So
Yeah.
he's been helping me out as well.
Yeah, I've been posting stuff like that in the Reddit communities, to get stuff translated, like, because it's yeah, you should get out there and go visit the
I need to
actual
get in
archive.
there.
Yeah.
Where? Oh man!
Yeah. Yeah, the guy has it and it's on display, I think. Nicholas Luhmann's actual
Wow!
archive. Yeah, in
Wow!
Bielefeld,
Yeah,
Germany. Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
About 2 months ago, I read Paul Otlet,
Oh, yeah, that book.
yeah, cataloging the world.
Yep.
That opened up my mind as well,
I
and
know. That is also
other
mind-blowing.
rabbit holes. I'm like,
Yeah.
goodness gracious, there's so
Yeah.
much I didn't know.
Yeah, I
There's
know.
just
I
so much
know.
I didn't know, man. It was
Yeah,
great.
I know. I read that, like I have it on my desk right now.
Hmm.
I was going through it today actually. I read that when I read that a year, like I think it was about a year ago. I read that.
Hmm.
I think for like 3 weeks straight. I got no work done. I just read that and took
Yep.
notes on that one.
Yes, sir.
It's just a
Yes, sir.
fascinating book. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. The interesting thing about that is that system he was trying to create basically the Wikipedia for the
Right.
world, right?
Right.
And you could see analog failing in that respect, right?
Hmm.
Because uh, it it uh, it was good up until the Nazis seized it and burned it to the ground and made room
And
for
I damn near wanted to cry like when Mufasa died, man. That hurt when they took his stuff away, man. I was
oh
like,
man,
geez, Louise.
yeah, yes,
That hurt.
absolutely. I
That
know,
hurt.
I know, I know. I
I
felt
could
really
just
bad for him.
imagine
He spent his whole
somebody
life.
hauling away your Antinet,
Oh
or
God,
I'm like, oh
yeah.
no, no, that is such a violation,
Yeah, I know. You know what it is for me? It's because I wrote the section in the book about like what to do in case of fire or flood and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously there's the fireproof
Mm-hmm.
boxes and stuff, but those cost a pretty penny. I don't know if that's that practical.
Right,
But for me, it's just the best motivation tool for me to actually get my stuff produced and published into work faster.
right, right, right.
Because it's like but yeah, that's such a great book. I'm so glad you got to read and enjoy that too.
Sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So all right, what do we have here? So we have 1,000, 5,000. You got
Yep.
it numbered in there?
We got one
Okay.
through five.
All right, let's install it in the main box. Now, do you have separators that have that are numbered by chance?
I do have extras that I could
Yeah.
put numbers on, but
That's what I've done. So check this out. You see how like I think what is that? This is the letter P,
is that a 4x6 card?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But but it's one of those it's like one of those separators. What I've just do is like I'll just turn it around and put like white out under on it, and then just draw the number, write the number 4226. So you don't have that problem right now. It's not
No.
a big deal, but eventually when it grows and expands, you can do that. So like, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, you can separate by
Mhm.
these things.
Right.
Separators, but we don't need to do that right now. Okay, so let's see I say we clear out the main box and let's just install those items in it.
Okay. Yeah. Because I was so ready for our um, the last time we was gonna meet. I was like, okay, let me hold
Oh
it off.
yeah,
And I'm like, all right, well, let me hold it off again because I
I know.
definitely want to let Scott teach me exactly how this thing should go right here.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I had a cavity and filling. I was like all numbed out. It
yes,
actually
sir.
didn't turn out to be that bad. I could have probably
Cool. Nah,
powered through
nah,
it, but I didn't
it's
want
all
to
right.
risk it. I
Nah,
don't want to
nah.
be out of it.
Not even worth it. It's all good.
Yeah.
Better late than never. This right here, this is a 6x8 card. So this is
Okay.
what I was doing maybe 2, 3 months ago.
Okay.
When I was just looking at your videos, I was dealing with big cards for big ideas. So I have a 6x8 Antinet box that I just got sitting right now. So whenever I
Really?
figure out what I want to do with that, I'm gonna be using my 6x8 cards.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, honestly, 6x8 cards might be even better for the bib cards, because it adds
Mhm.
more room for you to create the notes, not create like
Sure.
multiple. But
Yes, sir.
yeah, yeah.
So this Alan Weiss Consulting
Okay.
Bible, this is clearly about consulting, being able to speak to schools, uh, getting some of my intellectual property out there in boardrooms, coming along with school boards, having those discussions, talking numbers. I felt like I needed to step my knowledge about that realm up.
Yeah.
So
So this is more used for you to use and apply in your own business, your own, I get,
yes,
what
sir.
did you call it? The edupreneur.
Entrepreneur.
I love that term. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is more like skills that you can then apply and use for whatever you create. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Gotcha.
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, this brings up an interesting point. You see, it's because it's like, do we want to create do we want to create, sorry, Siri came on, of course,
Mhm.
at the
Oh, good.
the most annoying times. um do we want to create an actual main cards for these types of notes? That's the question. And for me, you know I actually, for these types of skills, like
Mhm.
now what I do is I don't actually create full on main cards
Okay.
unless they can actually apply to the current work or project or thing that I'm building or working on, right?
Mhm.
So uh you mentioned how you foresee your main box is,
Mhm.
you said a book, and
Okay.
the second thing you said was
Online course
yes, that's right.
or
That
courses, multiple online courses. So
yes.
even getting in the realm of intellectual property, like if I show you the bookshelf, it's just ridiculous over there. But
Yeah.
intellectual property, figuring out what needs to be trademarked, what needs to be copywritten. So it might not be something that I'm actually teaching in my online course or
Hmm.
teaching in my book, but it's something that I need to know while writing the
Exactly.
book,
It's
while
it's
doing.
the exactly. Yeah, it's like the what do we call it? Like the input skills to create the output that you
Yes,
desire
sir.
to create. Yeah.
Correct.
And then what is the output? What is the course that I think let's narrow in on like one specific thing, like output thing that you're going to create? Like, so
Okay.
what is the course? I think, yeah, you did mention you wanted to create like an online course, right?
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
the first course is actually about a concept called ACEs. It's an acronym that stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences.
Okay.
So it's going to teach kids how neglect, physical abuse, parents separating, drug use in the home all
Mm-hmm.
creates trauma and stress that lives in the body and manifests itself later in life. So
Yeah.
you see
I
these
think I have that
negative,
book.
yes, sir. So you see
It's
negative.
yeah. What
Hmm.
the book, sorry to
No, you're
interrupt you,
good.
but
You're
this
good.
is it's what my now fiance has. It's like, what is the book called? It's like it lives in the body, or it
Yeah, the body keeps score.
yes, that, and
Yes,
I
sir.
have it on my shelf because she
Nice.
recommended it. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
it's
We're on it.
childhood trauma
We're on it,
is
Scott.
so significant. Yeah. Yeah. The universe was calling me, and I was
Yes,
like, you know
sir.
what? I ordered that book right away. It's on my shelf.
So as with Mortimer Adler, with the syntopical reading, so I'm reading multiple books with similar
In that field.
backgrounds.
In that
So
field.
the
Yes.
body keeps score. I'm reading, or I just finished Oprah's book, What Happened to You. She wrote
Hmm.
a book called What Happened to You with another doctor. Uh, why is his name not coming to my mind right now? But nevertheless, I haven't created. I finished the book before I found your life changing,
Yeah.
ability. So I have notes in, what do you call it? In
Obsidian.
Obsidian about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no,
But
I still have old notes before I switched over. You know, when I was
yeah,
on the I was on the same journey as you are, you know, and
yes,
I
sir.
find a lot of
Yes,
people
sir.
are, you know. Yeah, okay. So you've got
So
that one.
once I'm able to learn the correct way, analog route, then I can go start pulling back and transcribing those old ones. But
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is what I'm doing now. Currently, I'm reading the Consulting Bible, Alan Weiss. I'm reading Summarization in Any Subject, because maybe, I don't know, maybe I have undiagnosed ADHD as well. Some
Hmm.
people say, how can you read that many books? And I'm like, how can you read one book? Like
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can't just read one book. I
Yeah.
get bored,
Yeah.
even if the book is just the best book ever. I can't read it while driving. I want to
Yeah.
learn while I'm driving. So I'm gonna put on an audio book,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a misnomer, and Naval Ravikant talks about it too. Is
Mhm.
you know, you read for concepts and ideas. You know, you don't have to read because of there's some social signaling mechanism that a lot of people you know, signal to others, you know, like, you know, have like an Instagram post with like 30 books and saying, look, I read 30, you know,
Right.
like, you know, yeah, like 30 books this week or something like that, and I finished every single one of them. It's like, you don't need to do that. You can,
Right.
it's all about selection, you know.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
and yeah, and you know, not necessarily finishing books, you know. And but well, but the way you read, when you read in the Antinet way and the Lumen way with the bib cards,
Yeah.
it allows you not to get caught up on reading every single word because you
Right.
got the big part and you're reading for selection anyways.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, keep going down this aces course online, because
Okay.
I think there's some real goals
Yes, sir.
here. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So in the online course, I'm also going to make it visual. But I felt like an analog Zettelkasten would be the best way for me to fully flesh out the curriculum design and the
Yeah.
course design and the essential questions that I want the students to be able to answer by the end. And all of that comes with the backstory, the research, giving examples, showing better than telling, and the physical traumas, put they do a doozy on the body. We're talking about heart disease, atherosclerosis. We're talking about high blood pressure, people's lives being cut short 10, 15, 20 years earlier than it would have.
Hmm.
And just teaching kids ways to manage the stress. Some of us we dealing with aces our whole lives and didn't even know it,
Hmm.
and it goes along all color lines, because it doesn't matter what color you are, certain things can be considered as traumas. If even if your parent just died, that's a
Hmm.
trauma. Your parents divorced, that's a trauma. Depending on the kid's resilience level, that can affect there's a wavelength of how much it affects. This, it's never just constant for each individual. Some kids are more resilient, so it didn't affect them as much. They were able to
Hmm.
bounce back. Whereas another kid, it it's the only thing they thought about for 20 years. So um, teaching kids about the wavelengths, getting them to understand resilience, getting them to understand different breathing techniques and words of self-affirmation and positive self-talk, and understanding that they're not the only ones going through them. Even just the awareness that there is something called ACEs, and
Hmm.
that if this happened to you, this is a result that can come about. It just takes the onus off of the kid's shoulder. Like, they've been carrying that burden. Like, why do I feel like this? Why do I have an attitude? Why am I rebuking authority? People love to put responsibility on others. So
Hmm.
if you
Yeah.
teach them about the responsibility not necessarily starting with you and where it began, I think you'll get people to pay attention.
Yeah.
I think
And
parents would like to hear that too.
yeah. And is this course that you're envisioning, is it who is the audience? Is it the parent or the kid?
Teenager is
Yeah.
teenager,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. And it's teaching them like life skills of how to
yes,
turn it into, like, it's kind of like the obstacle is the way, right? Turning it in, turning their obstacle,
exactly,
their trauma
exactly.
into
That's
their
another
greatest
book that I
gift.
got to transcribe as well.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
finished that. Ryan
Yeah.
Holiday, I'm trying to go through all his books and take those nuggets as well. But yeah, I had to read The Obstacle is the Way, because that was right along what I'm trying to convey in my online course, which
Exactly.
eventually will turn into a book, which will eventually turn into several books.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's nothing better than an analog Zettelkasten. I even seen the video with
Yeah.
Robert Greene showing his index
Yep.
cards,
How
and
they're all color
I'm like,
coded and all
yeah,
that
I'm
stuff.
like, man,
Yep.
I wish he would have went deeper into it, but I still don't think that that's more
Yeah.
effective than
Don't
a
worry. Yeah, you
Zettelkasten.
don't want to go into that. That's the category based systems, and and I still hold them as better than Obsidian and digital note taking
Yeah,
systems.
yeah.
But I mean, I did that system for like what 10, 10, 15 years, and it runs
Jeez.
into limits. It also,
Mhm.
yeah, misses like it misses all the other benefits of the lumens, structure and the whole Antinet, and
Mhm.
like all the chain linking your ideas based on
Right.
similarity, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
That's a
is it?
must. That's a
Yeah.
must.
Oh yeah.
That is a must.
Is the ACEs course seems to me like the best like practical application that we can work towards and
Okay.
start building out. Is there another course, or do you think that's the best one to go with?
So after the ACEs course, the second course would be about study skills.
Ah, yeah.
Study skills. So I have uh,
Is that where the summarization book comes into play?
that the summarization book is going to help me in all aspects of my
Yeah,
study.
that's kind of like the input skill or the applied skill that you can
Yeah,
use for
because if
everything.
I'm going to be doing Zettelkasten, now I want to be firmly aware of everything that I do not deem necessary to put on a card. If it's not
Hmm.
necessary, it doesn't need to go on a bib card. I
Yeah,
only want to put the most salient points that it cannot not make it to the bib card. That's the only
yeah,
thing that needs to be there. So I
yeah.
have books like this, Understanding How We Learn, a
Oh,
visual
interesting.
guide. This is excellent for teachers. Structures and depicting, okay, spatial book. So the main concepts in this book are space learning, space repetition,
Hmm.
retrieval techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Interleaving. So interleaving is a practice where you're learning multiple different disciplines that are similar, but they have their differences as well. And I've damn near taken that into with book reading too. Like I'll read 3 different books that are somewhat similar, but they have their differences. So I'm picking, okay, I see where this author is going with this, because when I learned about interleaving, I was also reading Mortimer Adler's book and reading about syntopical reading. So it's like I was creating main notes and bib notes in my brain that I haven't even written down yet.
Basically shared concepts across those books.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Nice.
So teaching kids how to space out their learning and not to cram. You can do more in a 5-10 minute session. Teaching, see, kids, and this is specific knowledge that I have because I've actually been in the classroom in front of 40 kids for the past 10 years, 5 periods a day. Kids can learn anything that they're interested in.
Exactly. Yeah.
If it's interesting, they're all ears. If it's boring, it could be life-saving. It could save their grandma. They will fall asleep.
Yeah.
They don't care. Don't matter.
Hey, it's not only the kids. I'll admit I'm the same way too.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Figuring out how to make things visually, aesthetically pleasing to the eye. These are things that I've been going down that wormhole. And I have those 30 graphic design books and aesthetic intelligence books. That's a whole nother rabbit hole over there. I'm just keeping it.
Yeah.
Cognitive studies, business building, consulting. I have my principles of instruction, my knowledge science books, my book of trees. This is another book that
I'm in the tree section of the book right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see that one
right here.
Oh wow. Yeah, I just saw that on Amazon yesterday.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
see that. Wait, what is that? What does the subtitle say? Visualizing branches. Oh my God. All right. I gotta get this book.
Yes, sir.
What is it called? The
Book of
Trees.
800 plus years of how people visualized knowledge in the tree form.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's right up my alley.
Correct. That's why I'm like, these are books that I've personally curated to show you. Because I'm like, you know what, you've taught me so much. I'm gonna bring books that, hey, either he's seen them or he hasn't. But either way, he needs to see what I've been delving into.
Yeah. I want to show you one more one.
Okay.
Have you seen this one on in any of my videos?
Trees of the Brain Roots. No, sir.
This one is amazing. So
Trees of the Brain, Roots of the Mind.
Yeah. So like look at just visualizations. It shows how neurons in the brain. I'll just read you the so the human brain is often described as the most complex object in the universe. Tens of billions of nerve cells. They're tiny tree-like structures. This is the crazy part. It's like our individual, nerve cells in our brain are likened to trees.
Right.
And it's like, if you zoom in, it's a massive network, a forest, and this is an MIT researcher, and he offers a new perspective on the roots of individuality, humanity based on tree networks, and like how our mind is mapped to this stuff. So it's really fascinating. It's funny, is because there's just so much the more you read, the more you realize just how much everything connects, and how
it does. It really does, though. It really does.
And it just makes more sense too, is like, as you model stuff around like the little graphs in Obsidian, it's cool and all, but it's like, I think the best structures of knowledge are mirrored around trees, and it's like
Yeah.
that's why it's like think of these as trees with each
Right.
individual leaf on a different location, and you're
Right.
branching, and it's like
Right.
I think that's what has been lost with the digital Zettelkasten people is they've just thrown all of Lumen's stuff away,
Yeah.
and it's like wait, on second look, a lot of this stuff is very useful. So
Right.
yeah. Well, so I say we carve off either the ACEs course or the study skills course, but it also sounded like you had the book prepared of the summarization book, like you wanted to go through
I
the
did. All right. Let me read this passage to you because
yeah
I was watching when the gentleman was reading from The Prince,
yes
Niccolo
yeah
Machiavelli.
Machiavelli.
Yes, sir. Machiavelli, my man. Okay. As you read the book, stop at intervals. Okay. All right. All right. Our students are often let me read further back. For some readers, summarizing is a sensible, even enjoyable task. They know a variety of summarization strategies, and they've experienced the illumination that comes from successful summarization of material. For the rest of us, however, we wonder if all that work is necessary, and the dishes in the sink aren't going to clean themselves. Better get up and do them first. Our students are often of the latter disposition, willing to do any homework task except summarize. They'll gladly copy a page of the dictionary before summarizing a page of the history book. Summarizing is a fuzzy process for them. I don't know what's important and what's not. What if I don't get it all? What if I include too much? What's the main idea of this paragraph? What are the supporting details? How do I restate the sentence in a new way when the author already said it as clearly as anyone can? Can't we just do a Google Doc together? Lack of clarity and specific methods give any strategy a bad reputation. That right there was just profound to me as I'm thinking about Antinets and Zettelkastens. And I'm like, you know what? There's so much words in a book,
Mm-hmm.
so much information in a book. What is really necessary? Because I have to be judicious, I have to be discriminatory,
Mm-hmm.
and
Selective.
selective, extremely.
It's selection is the number one skill, and it's hard to teach, to
Right.
or that's at least according to Fiona McPherson. She's
Yeah.
of effective note taking, that book. Yeah, but like summarization, yeah, basically summarization is it's a hard skill because it requires like the full cognitive processing of your brain. You're formulating or reformulating what you've just read, right, and turning it into really turning it into knowledge.
How do you title your bib notes? And do you have a word limit? Because I've been trying to keep my
Yes.
titles to 3-4 words max. Is that
Yeah.
necessary?
No, that is, yeah, to a certain degree. Let me show you
Okay.
one that I just finished yesterday.
Okay.
This book. Okay. And then so you haven't created we'll jump back to that passage in a second,
Okay.
And go through that. Let me just show you this. Here is the and on the back, I practice what I preach. Here's like the goal and the outline of it. Okay.
Yep.
This is of the book. This is a pretty good book. It's called The Intellectual Life. It's by a Catholic monk named Antonin Sertalanges. And what's interesting, I got turned on to the book because he actually outlines in it a note card system, paper slip system with numbers on it, like Lumen had. And he wrote this in like 1920.
Wow.
And
That
it's a good
predates Lumen.
it's a cool book. Yeah, he doesn't go into any explicit detail on it. It's even even worse than like Lumen doesn't go into any detail on it as either,
Mhm.
but this guy goes into even less detail on how it works. It's a really cool book for like, just of how to, the intellectual life of reading and what you need, focused
Yeah.
study, getting a ton of sleep, cutting off distractions and unnecessary, just it's simplifying your life and stuff
Right.
like that. But also how to have joy too and not work too much. Like he says, like, all you need actually to produce amazing intellectual work is 2 hours of focused study a day,
Hmm.
that you really dedicate to deliberate practice.
Yeah.
So I just read this book last week, and if you can see on my notes, here's what my bib card looks like. If you can
Hmm.
see that. And I actually posted this on my Twitter feed yesterday, so you can like
I
zoom
gotta
in
get
and look
on
at them.
there. What is your Twitter handle? I didn't even know you had.
It's yeah, I think I put it in my email. Are you on my email list,
Yes.
by the way?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
cool. Yeah. So
Ready to go.
it's
Overloaded
you'll
it.
see it. You'll see the link in the footer of my email, but it's at Scott Scheper.
Okay.
Um, and so what you'll see in this is like so so some of the things like you'll see I have terms underlined like zone of genius,
Hmm.
and next to that is page 27. So what that signals to me, I already have an index entry for zone of genius in my Antinet index.
Hmm.
It's under Z. It says zone of genius. What zone of genius refers to is a concept. I think this was from Guy Hendricks, and
Hmm.
it talks about how we should all focus on our zone of genius. We have four zones, like our zone of incompetence, our zone of competence, our zone of excellence, which is we're something we're really good at, and then our zone of genius. And the thing we all seem to do is we seem to dabble in like the excellent and competent category, but really what we should spend all of our time in is the zone of genius category, right? So I read something on page 27 that was basically like talked about specialization and zone of genius, right? And so all I did, that's an instance where all I had to do was I wrote down the keyword zone of genius. And the reason is because that's something, and this is what Lumen talks about. I would say out of this entire book, I'll probably only create 4 or 5 main cards. Okay.
Hmm.
The rest of them are just things that are going to go in my either index or something that, and the index card, a dedicated index entry um, will say Sertalanges, which is the author's name, page 27 for Zone of Genius. So what that allows me to do is, because I'm not writing a book right now on Zone of Genius, I'm not writing a
Right.
book on life philosophy right
Right.
now, and I may one day, I may in like 5 years or 10 years.
Mhm.
And when I do, I want that idea to ruminate, and that's why Lumen called his Antinet box like in his cards. If you go into the online archive,
Mhm.
he has one term, he calls it a septic system. It's like where, but then he also calls it a ruminant. A ruminant
Mhm.
is like, it's when you um it's like a part of like the cow. You know how cows eat grass? They
Yes,
let it
sir.
ruminate in them and process over like a long period of time. So
Mm.
that's what that kind of bib card entry is. The other one, the longer ones, and it looks like you were creating some longer ones too, which I
Yeah.
do as well, is that's for when you want to write down something that and actually understand something, better,
Uh-huh.
is um like I wrote down on this number on page 213, is something, a quote that I got. And he writes, you know, the idea is basically don't obsess over approval from your audience, or customer research. Like in marketing or any creative craft, they say, like, oh, just
Yeah.
focus on what the audience wants or the, customer wants and all that. And what Sertalonga says is don't obsess over the approval from your audience, even though that kind of makes more economic sense. He says,
Right.
instead, focus on approval from God. And I think that is kind of a good principle. It's like look for a higher power and purpose, and what you. So I wrote that out, the full thing, because I can't really capture that in a key term.
And all of this came from the intellectual life.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And here's a myth is Lumen. I always thought Lumen only used one, card for one
Right.
book, but
Right.
I've found instances in his online archive. He'll use maybe like sometimes even up to like 4 or 5 cards front and back, when it's a book, because it's impossible to like capture the entire book on one card. And I got lucky
You
with this book. This is the entire book on one card, and it takes practice to be
yeah,
selective.
you're right.
Um, but yeah, that's one thing to keep in mind. A lot of my cards are like 4 or 5 of these types of things,
Mhm.
um, which is it's fine as well. Um, so yeah, that's something
That's awesome.
to share.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
yeah, so I think what we can do now is probably 2 options. We can either convert what you've just read into a bib card entry.
I would
Do you
like
already
to
have
do
a?
that.
Yeah,
I
let's
would
do
like
that.
to do that. I
Yeah,
think that learning how to create a correct bib notes slash main note for this summarization book,
yeah,
this passage, I think I'll be good for everything else.
yeah,
I'll be
yeah,
good.
yeah. Okay, so the thing is what do you think you're going to use this for? Do you think you're going to just use this for because it resonated with you on how important summarization is, or do you think you're going to use this for one of your courses, either like the study skills course? Like, where do you think you're going to use
I'm
it? That's the question.
certain. I'm certain in the study skills course, I will use this information. I'm
Hell yeah.
certain that I will. The context, I'm not 1,000,000% of the context and the execution yet, but it's in the strategy. I
Yeah.
just don't understand the tactic yet.
Yeah.
That's another book that I just got. Jocko Willens. What's the name of this book? Just got it yesterday. Leadership Strategy and Tactics.
Mm.
Leadership Strategy and Tactics. So basically, the strategy is the overarching goal, doesn't really change. The tactics that you go about it
Mm-hmm.
changes.
Mm-hmm.
The strategy comes from the highest level. The
Mm-hmm.
tactics are executed by the low level managers, the employees. They execute the tactics implemented by the overheading boss that gives the
Mm-hmm.
strategy. An employee is not going to come up with the strategy for a company. He will
Yeah.
only fulfill the tactics from up above, and the
Yeah.
tactics can change. The strategy usually doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
And I had heard on CNN, I watch CNN a lot, Fox News, just get a different doses of news, and they were talking about the Ukraine crisis and how they feel like the president over there, the Russian president, was doing too much, and he had good tactics but poor strategy. The
Mm.
strategy was off.
Mm.
Certain. So I was like, you know what? I need to I need to figure out and delve into that idea of the differences between strategies and tactics.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm teaching an online course and one of my later courses is going to be about critical thinking skills that can help keep you alive, if you're from Brooklyn, New York, and you're in a city where there's 10 million people, you need to know how to keep yourself alive. You need to know how to move.
Yeah.
So a lot of my content is going to come from 48 laws of power and daily laws and
Mm-hmm.
obstacle is the way. So it's all going to tie in. Like you were
Mm-hmm.
saying, it's crazy how so much different information from different fields can all tie in. So
Yep.
specifically with this summarization, I feel like this book and the information withheld in it, it's going to be used on a daily.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
learning how to
So
make a
so
bibliography card for it and ruminating on the main ideas and the essence of what the author is trying to get across. I mean, that's going to help me immensely
mm-hmm.
with my discernment, with my discrimination skills, with because we all need refreshers. I'm sure my poor third grade teacher tried to teach me this at one point, but we
Hey,
didn't know
I'm
what
here.
was
I'm there with you.
we didn't know what was extremely
Yeah.
important and what
Yeah.
was to be held
So
on. I remember the donut parties more than anything she really tried to
Yeah.
teach me.
So what I will say is, I think this is, do you have the bib card already set up for the summarization book?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see that. You have like the over. Oh, that's it. Okay. Yeah, summarization. Hell yeah. Okay, cool. So let's see the back. You haven't started the back yet.
Oh,
Okay,
sir.
cool. Okay, cool. All right. So what page is this one on? This
This
quote
is
on
on page 2. As soon as
page
you
two.
open the
Okay.
book, you read 2 pages. Well, really, it's like
Yeah.
5 pages in because of the preface and the
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever. The
Yeah.
second page of the book, I was able to come across. No worries.
I'm searching right now. Before we dive in on
Okay.
like the study skills,
Mm-hmm.
study strategies. Let's see. Study languages on the academic disciplinary fields to see where it could fit in.
Okay, cool. Cool. Because I'm like, if I'm going to be doing bib notes every single day, I need to have a solid methodology on
Mm-hmm.
how to discriminate my note taking.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking in all the information, but you're going to forget most. I was having the same issue. I've read books and I don't really remember them after. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
writing
Well,
these bib notes, I remember
have
this stuff.
has
I
it already?
really remember this stuff.
I know, right? It you've already seen the big impact of
Yes,
like stamping
sir.
it on your
Yes, sir.
memory.
Without
Hell
without a
yeah.
doubt.
Hell
Like
yeah.
I can have conversations about things that I just learned 4 days ago
Yep.
and link it with things that I've already. It's called schema.
Exactly. Yeah.
You familiar with schema?
I'm not familiar with the
Okay.
word schema. Yeah,
So
where did that come from?
SCHEMA.
Oh, well, yeah, I know the word, but not in the context of
Okay, so in the teaching context, a kid can't learn something that he cannot attach prior learning to.
oh, interesting.
So
Yeah.
schema deals
Which
with what the child already knows. If there is
interesting.
no link to
That's
that
the
branch,
entire thing the Antinet is built on. It's just me
correct,
linking everything together. Yeah.
correct. So
Or
schema,
not linking, like chaining everything together. And
right.
it's like almost like this hierarchical associated chain. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I
So
have a schema for certain things that I'm reading already, but I did not understand the links yet to
yeah.
other things.
Yeah.
So
Now
all of this reading, watching your videos, it's helped connect more dots. It's helped link and chain to other things that I already was proficient with. So it's just a beautiful thing. I've always been a curious dude. My mother was an educator for 30 years. Father was an educator, both of them masters educated. I have my master's, wife has her master's. So
yeah.
we not out here trying to be slacking. So if anything was to ever happen, I would need my son to have a specific location and specific things he could point to. This is what my dad wanted me to know. This is what my dad helped other kids learn. So it must be important, you know? So
Hell yeah.
I feel like that's my legacy to him. So it's more important than just collecting things, you know?
Yep. Yep.
It's not just a repository. I need to have specifically discriminated information in there that I deem necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You'll be stamping that in with the index. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's what we'll get to. Yeah. Well, let's dive into the that first one. So from that passage, it sounds to me,
There's a
correct me
lot
if I'm
in there.
wrong. Yeah, it is. And it's, but the cool thing is it's beautifully written. It's like
Mm-hmm.
a good excerpt, you know?
Yes, sir.
So it sounds to me basically what it's saying is that is summarization, the skill of summarization is critically important, yet
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to do it,
Right.
you know?
Yes, sir.
Um, yeah. So I think the so for the bib card, now have you, with your other bib cards, have you put, do you have a scheme for that? Like, for me, I don't know if you see mine. I put like the page number, in parentheses, and then I put the idea. You have a
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that's how I've been doing them.
Okay.
Yeah, I put the page number in red, and I
Okay.
write the idea in a different color, and I underline it, put it in quotes. So
Yeah.
that would be what would be going onto my index card.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So, because you would be creating an index entry for
Right.
that one. Yeah.
Because even if I write verbatim the excerpt, even under the excerpt, I would write what I would put on the index card, which would not be the
Hmm.
excerpt. It would be how I refer to the excerpt. For instance, let me give you an example of what I'm saying. Okay. For the Consulting Bible, the excerpt is, and this is a much shorter quote slash excerpt. The role of the consultant is to improve the client's condition. Premium non nocere, which is Latin for do no harm.
Hmm.
Something that doctors also have to, take that
Yeah.
oath to do no harm.
Yeah.
But so I have in blue the excerpt, and
Hmm.
under that in purple, you see I have the page number. Well, actually, I'm listening to
You
it
have some.
audio book. So I actually have the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
timestamp for
Yeah.
audio book.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I didn't hear anybody discuss how to freak the audio book, so I just
Yeah.
had, hey, it got to be
No,
time.
that's what I do as well.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So
So,
the role of the
all right.
consultant is to improve the client's condition, but I for indexing purposes, I put consultant client condition improvement.
Yep. Yeah. 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 So I think that, yeah, I think that's fine for that one.
Mhm.
Um, I think let's go back to the summarization. I think
All
I've
right.
got that of how we can like fit, like build this one out.
All right.
So the thing is that that's page 2, right? You
Yes.
said? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that idea really encapsulates, like I said, summarization is critically important, yet it's hard. Nobody wants to do it.
Right.
So what I would put on the bib card is, I would put that essentially, like write something along the lines of summarization is important, but nobody wants to do it. And then in
Like
parentheses, in
summarization necessary but avoided.
yes, exactly. Yeah. And then in parentheses, I would put great excerpt, you know.
Okay.
So what this signals us to do, and I'll show you in a second, we're going to build out a main card for this.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
all right. Yeah, let's see that.
And you said in parentheses put great
Great
excerpt.
excerpt. Yeah. Or great quote, whatever term you want to use.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Now, so what we've done here, that's your bib note for this. Do you
Yes,
see
sir.
how concise it is? And like you didn't attempt to excerpt it or write quotes on it. Um,
Right.
and this is something you know, so in rare that was a long because that was a long passage you read,
Right.
right? If it's a short passage, I'm talking like, 2 to 3 sentences max.
Mhm.
I think it's fine and okay to excerpt and write the excerpt note,
Mhm.
like in that one video, we wrote out that excerpt note. But
Yep.
for like an entire passage, you don't want to do that. You don't want to get bogged down in that.
Right.
Now, even though I say that, Lumen did, there were exceptions where Lumen did that. And he did that in the early Zettelkasten,
Mhm.
his first Zettelkasten quite a bit. And it's fine if you're really trying to stamp something in your mind to learn it.
Right.
But um, I think how this excerpt, this quote should be used is I envision when you're in your when you're in the online class, like one of the first modules or the first slides, not the first one, but whatever slide you want that introduces the concept of summarization,
Yeah.
we want to include this as saying, and we're going to create a main note basically saying that um as one who, like, is the writer of the book, is she like a cognitive psychologist or something, or he?
Yes. An educator and cognitive psychologist, Rick Wormelli.
Oh, it says cognitive psychologist.
Mhm.
Awesome. I just pulled that out of my ass. I'm
Sure.
surprised. Okay,
You're on
cool.
point.
So how we would write this main note is we're going to write it as if we're teaching someone, teaching your audience. So
Okay.
we're going to write and say, as cognitive psychologist, and then the name the person observes. Actually, yeah, why don't we, are you going to pull out a main note right now, main
Yes,
card right
sir.
now? Yeah. And I think, maybe write this in your own language, but
Mhm.
here's what I would do is write as cognitive psychologist and then that person's name
Okay.
uh, points out, summarization is a critical skill. It's an important skill, but it's a difficult skill, and it's something that every student would rather do anything else than do. And
Right.
then write great excerpt or great quote,
Mhm.
then cite that person, and then page 5 or whatever, or page 2. I'm sorry, page 2, right?
Okay. Hold on
And
one
then
second. Should I be writing that on a lined paper
okay,
or on unlined?
so now you have the option. Okay.
Okay.
So, and I'll walk through this slowly with you, because I was just spouting off what this card is going to look
Yes,
like.
sir.
All right. So, how I do it, how Lumen did it is he did it on free, arranging paper, no lines,
Fine.
right?
Okay.
Now,
So,
some people like lines. I used to like lines and writing on lines, but I don't do that anymore.
all right. So I'll go
So
unlined.
yeah, go online. Here's
And
another.
just
Here's
at the
another.
top in the middle, I write the
Okay.
author's name, right? Wormelli.
Um, no, here's what we're going to do.
Okay.
Okay. We are going to, even before we build this out. So, and you've seen my like guide and stuff. Have you seen the outline of academic fields on Wikipedia?
I have seen it,
Okay,
but I did not delve into it
that's fine. We're gonna create it. We're gonna create something right now.
because
So
that's when I did this when I
yeah,
saw it, but I didn't dive into okay, so exactly how is that going to work? I was like,
yeah,
well, I'll just wait till I get on with it.
yeah. So I'm looking at this up on my screen up here. That's what I'm like staring at.
No
And
worries.
in it, in within applied sciences, there's the field education. And
Okay.
within education, you know, there's education, psychology, all of that stuff. So what we're going to first do is uh, is build out the education branch. Now, this is all arbitrary. Okay, so
Mhm.
on that card, I want you to put in the top right corner. We're going to first build out the education branch first, and just in the top right corner, put 5100
Okay.
5100.
5100. Top right corner.
Yep.
And you said this is educational science?
Yes.
All right, 5100.
I think they just call it education, but educational science is fine. Yeah, 5100. And then in the top left, put educational science.
Got you.
Okay. Let's see that. Yeah, cool. Now pull out another card. And in the top right of this card, I want you to put 5110.
Okay, 5100 is educational science. All right.
Cool. Let's see that. Okay, that's 5110. Now, all right, now we have the option here. So this is where I want to put the branch of study skills. Okay.
Okay.
And so study skills, I guess that's a good term to use for it. Is that what you want to use
Yes,
for
sir.
this whole area? Okay, cool. So put study skills on the top left.
All right.
Okay, cool. Now we've got those built out. We're going to create the index entries after, but we're going to we're going to build out the main note for this now. Okay. So now put in 5, get it out a new card.
All right.
Yeah. And then in the top right, put 5110/1.
5110/1.
Yeah. And in the top left, yep, exactly. In the top left, put summarization and then underline it.
All right.
Okay, cool. Now, under that, do they have a good definition in that book of summarization and what it is?
Yes, sir, they do. Where is it? Where is it? All right. Yeah. All right. So literally right after I stopped talking, they say summarizing, restating the essence of text or experience in as few words as possible, or in a new but efficient manner, is filtered by our intended audience, and purpose is summarizing. PBS's Wonderful Reading Rockets website for young readers, summarizing, teaches students how to discern the most important ideas in a text, how to ignore irrelevant information, and how to integrate the central ideas in a meaningful way. Teaching students to summarize improves their memory of what they read.
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot of definitions in that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So so what I would do is we're just going to put that as a placeholder. Okay.
Okay.
at some point, like after this, I want you to go back and try to like add a brief definition
Yeah.
of summarization on that card that we just created.
Gotcha.
Now, what we're going to create next is we're going to create like a new card.
All right.
Okay. Now on this new card, I want you to put 5 1-1s in the top right. Put 5
1 Okay.
5110/1/1.
Okay. 5110/1/1.
Yeah. Now here's the main note card that we're going to create for that bib note that we just created.
Okay.
So yeah, perfect. Yeah. Yep. So on this card, I want you to write essentially what we were talking about, like with that bib note, which is it's essentially the importance of summarization cannot be understated. It is critically important, right? However, nobody wants to do it. It's because it's so difficult. And then great excerpt, and then what is the author's last name?
Wormelli.
And then great excerpt, Wormelli, 2.
Okay. So just start writing in the middle of the card. That's it.
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I like to top, yes, basically yes. Yeah, I like to
Or
start What's that?
About like right here.
Yeah,
Not here.
I would
Right
start. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
Start where it won't interfere with the number and won't run into the number, like probably like a centimeter down or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Although summarization is extremely important, many find it cognitively taxing and complex.
Yes. I like how you're writing it down in your own words and how you yourself write it down how you yourself want to teach it, because this is going to be in the actual course.
Yes, sir. Summarizing. And mysterious. It's application. All right. So I wrote, although summarizing is extremely necessary and helpful, many shy away from it because it's cognitively taxing and mysterious in its application.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Now under that,
Hmm.
write great quote, and then colon,
And put Wormelli.
yep,
Okay,
and then comma 2.
gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, now how I imagine this exactly. Yeah. Now how I imagine this slide shaping up,
Hmm.
is it's completely it's going to be option at the time when you're creating the course. You're going to have like, you're going to have like, I don't know, 50, 100, or so, and maybe even 1,000, I don't know,
Yeah.
cards mapped out in front of you when you're creating the
Right.
course. So when you're writing, it or creating it or even, teaching it,
Mhm.
you are going to be able to like, you know, at that point, decide if you actually want to include the entire quote and go back to the book and, copy it in or write it in, or write snippets of it in. So therefore, you don't want to get bogged down by writing out the entire quote right now,
Mhm.
so that you can move on. But the other thing that this is good is that you now have um uh um oh one of the things I forgot is, I think what we were going to say is, um this this is we want to prepend it maybe with like, as observed by cognitive psychologist, this cognitive psychologist,
Mhm.
then state what you've just said. You could put it in parentheses
Absolutely.
under it.
Oh,
um
I could put it
it,
in parentheses under it.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's the cool thing. It's like, there's we're not constrained to any strict protocols.
Gotcha.
um so I would put it in parentheses under it, is as this was stated by cognitive psychologist. That way, when you're stating it in the course, you have some
Uh-huh.
basis. It's not just your opinion. This is like, as
Right,
stated by
right.
cognitive psychologist. This is what he found.
Got you.
It's like, because because there's a ton of value in that to your audience. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. Because essentially what we are, and like what you are, you're a curator. You're going out and curating and finding the selecting the best content from books, and then you're curating it and saying that way, when you're presenting it as observed by this cognitive psychologist, and here's the page number,
Mhm.
that's so much more valuable than just saying like, oh, it's like, yeah, this is just an opinion. It's not. It's like, it is your
Right.
opinion, and I believe it too. It's my opinion, but it's
Mhm.
also backed by this cognitive psychologist,
Right.
and then you can also have the option of stating that passage. Now, yeah, so okay, so now we have this is I basically your first main card, and I think
Appreciate it.
you've
Appreciate it.
I love it. I love it. And
Appreciate it.
now you get the if this is just one small piece, you're going to grow and like turn it into a
Mhm.
bunch of things. What I want to do right now, before we get too far, is let's file this in the main box, and then let's also create index entries for this.
Okay. Ugh.
Hell yeah, we need to have like music or something, or I need to have like a bell chime behind me,
Right, right, right.
whenever it's like a first.
I got
you know
like 40 packs of these things right
okay, are they
40 packs.
lined?
These are the unlined
Okay,
variety.
cool. Yeah. That's what I usually use for main notes,
Yeah.
is the blank white ones.
Yeah.
But I also
I
use
just
color.
used color for the ceremonial. Okay,
I
so
love it.
these were my first main notes right here.
Yeah,
These were in
yeah.
color.
Oh no, I
Okay,
still use color too. it's so on a whim too. It's just like
Yeah.
sometimes I just feel like especially when I'm drawing, certain things, I want it to
Mhm.
be colored so that I can remember it.
Right,
I
right,
have a
right.
diagram. I've like hand drawn a tree, learned how to do
Mhm.
it, to describe
Nice.
the Antinet, and it's on a green card in there, and I can
That's
just
dope.
navigate to it instantly. It's just like
That's awesome.
it adds the personality that Lumen talked about too. He called it
Hmm.
as a ghost in a box. It's like
Nice.
when you're perusing yours, and going through
Yes.
it, it's like communicating with that voice in your head and like your own personality.
Right.
So yeah. All right, let's pull out the index.
The main box or the index?
Um, Actually, you're right. Main box.
Okay.
It's funny. I love having teaching this on YouTube and stuff because it's forced me to actually come up with the terms for like main box,
Mhm.
bibliography box. Otherwise I was just
Sure.
like didn't know what to call it.
Now you've done well. From somebody who's been watching every single video,
Oh man, I
man, the
appreciate it.
passion, the
I cannot tell you
knowledge
how much I appreciate it. Yeah,
comes through, man. It comes
yeah.
through, man. There's
Thank you.
people. I look at how many people I'm watching the followers go up and up and
Yeah,
subscribers
I
go up
know.
and
I
up too,
know.
but you just never know who those people are.
Yeah,
They're
I know.
faceless,
Yeah,
but you doing your thing, bro.
yeah.
Real
Thank
good.
you. I
Very,
appreciate it.
very, very, very impressive.
Yeah. We are the crazy ones, in a good way.
Hey, you gotta
Like,
stay, you gotta stand out somehow.
oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, so would I file it under W for Wormelli, or would I file it
No,
under
no.
summarization, educational
Nope.
science?
This all organized by
Oh,
number.
by number, by
Yeah,
number. That's right. That's
exactly.
right.
So
All
let me see. Did you put the 1,000 through 5,000 in there yet in the main box?
right. This should be in the front of the
Yes.
main box.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can see the numbers right in the top right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So your main box is only organized by number. It's not
Gotcha.
organized alphabetically.
All right. Let me go grab my spare ones that I can put numbers on. I'll be right back. All right. All right. So I got a bunch of
Oh,
these
hell yeah. Okay, cool.
that I can do anything with.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
like 170 of these.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. All right. Yeah, that's crucial. I actually need to go load up on some more of those. um, all right. So what what you should put on the first one, right? On each so write 1,000 on the first one. We're going to create one for each of the 5 sections. Yeah. Cool. And the next one, 2,000.
All right. Got 1 through 5 right here.
Okay, cool. All right, now put that in the box and then
All right. So the 1 to 5,000 that I just wrote on those index cards,
yep.
does that take the place of these, or do
Yeah,
these still have
you
their place?
no, they still have their place.
Okay.
We should put those, yeah. So file those in between, in each one individually.
Okay.
So put the pink 1,000 card,
Yep.
behind the 1,000,
Gotcha.
the 1,000 folder or separator.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, because I didn't have the mental model of how it should go, I've just left it blank. I was like, he definitely can help fill in the dots for me.
Yeah.
But
It's so
once
hard
I
to,
get it,
yeah,
I'll have it.
I
Because
know.
I'm definitely tuned in, but
Yeah.
I'm just not doing the main notes because I don't have a mental model for how it should go yet.
Yeah. 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 It's something hard to explain, you know. That's why I love
Yeah.
doing these. It's because like I know if I sat down and I actually created a course and you know, because my YouTube videos are just like I dive right in, you know, and just
Yeah.
go everything.
Yes,
I
sir.
eventually plan on creating like a course and going through the stuff, you know, step by step, super easy. But right
Yep.
now I'm, you know, I decided for some reason to start with the hardest part, which is the book. Yeah,
I
perfect.
got it.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right. Now what we're gonna do is you have all those other cards, right? Those
Yeah, I
5,000
got it.
cards. Yeah. Okay. So now let's put those in order. So I think the first one is 5,100,
We got 5100, 5110
10, and then
slash
51.
1. Okay, 5110, then 5110 slash 1, and then 5110 slash 1 slash 1.
Yep.
All
Yeah.
right.
So put them in order, you know, with yeah. Is that
They're
yeah,
ordered.
that's good. Yeah. So that's 5,100. I can't see it. 5,100. That's the front one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Now let's put these. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's put these put them behind that 5,000 card. That 5,000 pink card.
Gotcha.
That's it's so helpful
Mhm.
using the colors.
Right.
Yeah. And so you know how we created the that like that category that's like education, you know?
Yes.
Um what I like to do, like I'm looking at the list of academic fields, is
Mhm.
I like to go through and actually create like you know, you know how that card is literally just says education and
Yeah.
5,100, you know. I
Mhm.
like to at least like create like the Wikipedia overview of what that field is. Like I'm looking at it right now. It says education is the process of facilitating learning or acquisition of knowledge, you know, skills, values. And so what I like to do, and you can do it after this, is like write out, you know, like the definition of the field, because it's just like it's actually it's pretty cool to actually, you know, it's
Facilitating
like
learning, acquisition of knowledge.
yes,
All right. And
yeah,
this would go on the education
card,
card,
yes, yeah,
the 5100.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. So the full quote is in right like the first sentence of the Wikipedia entry. I like to do this because you know we yeah we think we know what education is, you know, and it's like, but it's
Mhm.
like
Right.
actually, you know, if you take the time to deliberately slow down and write it out, there's like interesting things that you learn from it, you know, like
Right.
and how they explain it. And yeah. Okay. So all right, now you put them in the main box.
Yeah, they're in the main box right now. I'm looking for the one that we termed as, oh, all right. 5100 says educational science.
Yep. Okay.
So
Which brings us,
on the one that says educational science is
yeah,
where I should write that definition.
yes.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's turn to your index.
Okay. Facilitating learning acquisition.
Are you going to write it down right now?
Really quick.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. We're ready for the
Yeah.
end.
And be sure to bookmark that outline of academic disciplines, on the Wikipedia page, because how you're going to be building a lot of this stuff out is using that.
Academic disciplines.
Yeah.
And I know you have it on your the note
Website.
on your website, right?
Yeah. I need to maybe I'll yeah. People remember to pin it on this this video in the description.
Got it. All right, now we're ready for the index. Let me grab one of these bad boys right here.
Yeah. Oh, didn't you have the A to Z index cards already written out?
That's where they're going.
Yeah, let me see those.
All right.
Yes. Now
A1.
the only problem with those ones again is like you wrote it on the you wrote it up here, where they should be written in the top left.
Okay.
Yeah. Which we
Got it.
can let's build actually, and that's fine because look at the back of them have lines. So let's
Yeah.
build out. Yeah, let's build
Okay.
out.
All good.
Yeah. So for each one, I want you to write it. Just write like A, on the top left.
Okay.
On that lined section, and then the next one B, C. Let's do that.
Got you.
Yes. Wait, is that top left or top right?
Sheesh.
Well, here's the thing. It's your call too.
It's the first one, so
yeah, just do top left.
Top left. All right.
Yeah.
B. I'll remember that mistake.
Yeah, there we go.
By looking at it.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's like the process for imprinting this knowledge is so specific and unique. It makes it very difficult to forget that you did this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the fact that you which you'll be seeing soon is like creating a specific, imprinting a specific term like summarization.
Right.
Makes you read differently. You've neuro imprinted that term onto your mind so that whenever you're reading, it's like you can just immediately grasp things.
Right.
Which beats, if you rely on a digital system that just has full text search, you don't need to create neuro imprints of actual deliberate index entries. You're indexing your knowledge. Like I think that the term you said earlier, I forgot what you said, but the
schema.
Not maybe it was schema. Yeah. Is that the one where you only learn what you can only associate what you've previously learned? Yeah, exactly. You're creating a schema of you're stamping that schema into your mind.
Yeah.
Just like you've been able to like really recall and retrieve information that you've written down from your books, readings. It's like you're doing the same thing.
Yeah. All right, we're good to go, sir.
All right. So the first index entry, now we're going to create some index entries. And the first one, so take out the letter E. We're going to create it for education.
Education.
All right. Yeah, so on the first line, write education. And then write a colon. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Now after the colon, write a single quote, like like a, not a double quote, but single quote.
Yeah.
And then 5100.
Okay.
And then another single quote. Boom. Yep. There we go. Cool. Now file that back in the index. Okay. Now take out the S index card. Yeah. Okay. Now on that one, I think the first one, write study skills and then colon. Yep. And then write single quote 51110. Yeah, you see what we're creating?
Yes, sir.
Essentially, now we're creating basically a map, the human readable name, human friendly name back to the latitude, longitude,
Right.
like area. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now under study skills, write summarization. We got one more.
Okay.
Remember? Yeah.
Sure. Summarization.
Awesome. Yep. And then in put a single quote
Hmm.
next to summarization, and then put 511 5110/1. Cool. Yep, we've built that out. Yeah. And so cool. Now we have summarization. You see how remember the card on the importance yet people don't do summarization,
Sure.
we don't need to index that one because that falls under summarization,
Okay.
because you know how it's 551110/1/1, it like it'll fall
Right.
fall under that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
Okay. So cool. Now you've effectively created your starting index for this. Now, here's the thing. In the beginning, you're going to be indexing a lot of stuff, because you're building it from scratch, right?
right.
When you create main notes. Now, you don't want to get like, it's what I call index fatigue. That's where
Mhm.
you're like, you don't like err on the side of not burning yourself out of creating too many index entries, um, and but after a certain point, like for me I stopped like indexing like crazy after like, I don't know, maybe it was like 5 months, 4 or 5 months. And because I had to build out categories for everything. There'll be like
Mhm.
health, zone of genius, life philosophy, psychology, all of these sections, so you're going to
Right.
be building out a lot of them in the beginning. Yeah. um cool. Now we have a
Let's
starter.
say this S, right? I fill, hypothetically speaking, I fill up the front, I fill up the back. Do I start a new S card?
Yes. So what
Okay.
you'll do, and actually, I don't even fill up the back. You don't need to fill up the
Mm,
back of the card.
okay. You would
Let me
just
show you.
start another S
Yeah, let me
card
show you what
anyway.
my S. I think S is a very popular one. So it's like,
Mhm.
I'll show you mine real quick.
Got you.
Like I have even more, but yeah, here's like the first S of mine. You see that?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then second S. And then you see how I have those arrows too? Like
Yeah.
those arrows are let me pull one up. Yeah. Like those arrows are like it'll say like, what's it, singularity, and then it'll
Yes.
point me to extropy, you know.
Mm,
That's basically me saying, instead of me creating a spot in the internet, it's saying, oh, go see extropy. Extropy is the, you know singularity is kind of like that futuristic thing of like the universe wants to go towards more order over time.
right. Right.
Well, extropy is the same thing, and I like the term extropy. Extropy, how there's entropy
Yes,
things
sir.
have entropy over time and go to chaos and decay. Extropy is the opposite. They go to order. So I'm like, no, go see extropy when you see singularity, So you
Let me
can do
grab
those
my
types of
cord.
tricks.
I
What's
gotta, I
that?
gotta chart. I gotta
Oh, yeah,
grab
yeah,
my
yeah.
cord from my laptop.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Yeah, she was struggling.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised my headphones haven't died yet. I was like, I they were only charged to 50%, at the beginning of this call. I was like, damn it. Like, so I'm glad they've lasted.
Yeah,
Um,
going strong.
Yeah. So is the are the lights starting to come on for you? Like
I'm getting it.
yeah.
I really appreciate you, man,
Yeah, of
because
course.
what you're doing, I think you're the only person in this space that's doing it like this right now, man. Like
Yeah.
really the traditional way. The only person I've seen putting himself out there doing it like this right
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah, yeah.
kudos to you, man. I
Yeah.
really do appreciate your passion, your diligence with it. I feel like you definitely know what you're speaking of, and I feel like you're learning a lot every day.
Oh, hell yeah.
And if
Yeah,
you're
you've seen my
somebody
videos.
who loves to learn, yeah,
You've
if you're
seen how
somebody
I've
who loves to
evolved.
learn,
Yeah.
you can't beat this.
Yeah,
You can't beat
absolutely.
this because it's so
Oh yeah.
frustrating forgetting things that you want to remember.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So like one
Yeah.
of your
No,
first
I've,
videos when I saw the book Forgetting Machines on there, I was like, hold
yeah,
on, I need that. Because
yeah,
I forget so many good things. And then I'm
yeah,
like, oh, okay. So who is Richard Yeo? Let me get a couple of his books.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, let me get a
Yeah.
couple of Ann Blair's books. Let
Yep.
me
Oh
get
God. Yeah. She's,
like Too Much to Know,
yep.
information.
That's what we're drowning in. Yeah.
Right.
So what I'll say is this. This is, as you mentioned, like I'm still learning as I go along with this, and with people like you, I mean, like you're along for the ride as well. I think we're gonna be learning together in this whole thing.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
what I've learned, because as you've probably seen from my earlier videos too, is I've changed up how I do some stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I used a lot of, like, I was doing a lot of, for a while, especially for getting machines, I was
Mm-hmm.
going straight from book to extract notes, or
Mm-hmm.
extracting the content. Now I do
Yes.
the bib card notes, and I can go back and forth. It's just one of those things in the toolkit.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I'll say is it's really important to like be brief on the bib card, and to because you don't want to get bogged down, because like Ann Blair writes, there's too much to know, and
Yep.
and but the paradox is, I think you and I are both on the same page, is we want to know and read every book, so
Yeah, it's
so
hard. It's
I
hard.
know, I
I
know.
probably I probably bought physical 130 books the past year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Physical. That's
Yeah.
not even
I
counting
I've had
audio
to,
books
yep.
or
I've had to cut
ebooks.
myself off, honestly. The thing is that when you get good at
Hmm.
this bib card stuff, and I think Mortimer Adler, I think Mortimer Adler does, I think he's in that book, he writes about how the first time you read through a book, you shouldn't write notes. You should just read through it. Do you remember that part?
I
That
do
section?
remember him saying
Yeah.
that. And I
I
was
know.
like, man, that's so hard. It's so
I
hard,
know.
especially because as I'm reading his book, I'm also watching your videos. And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
that's
No,
tough.
I
That's
I
tough.
think there's a lot of truth in what he says, but one of the things, and how I've related it, is he talks about in the chapter, I think, like, I don't know if he calls it skim reading, or how
Skimming,
he talks about, like, maybe
scanning.
scanning, yeah, reading the book, I think, maybe for analytical purposes, reading
Yes,
it real
yes.
quick
Analytical
first.
reading,
Yeah.
syntactical reading.
Yeah.
Um,
And so
and, what was the first one?
uh
I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
And syntactical is the top level of reading.
Yeah.
Analytical is either first or second.
Yeah. I think there's
Second, second.
educational reading or something in there.
Informational reading.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
just trying to
Yeah.
inform yourself, and
Yeah.
then you go in more in depth and analyzing. You
Yeah.
are you familiar with Bloom's taxonomy?
That sounds familiar.
That's something that I feel like if I was to
Taxonomy.
put anything on your radar, Bloom's taxonomy. As a teacher, that's how we determine how well students are picking up the knowledge. There's
Oh, interesting.
6 levels. The beginning level of knowledge is remembering. Second is understanding. It's in a pyramid structure. If you pull up the
I see
image,
it. Yeah.
you cannot understand something you don't remember. So
Yeah.
it's so profound that a book called Forgetting Machines would have so much information about Nicholas Luhmann.
Yeah.
Remembering the basis of any bit of knowledge. Second, understanding. Third, application. You cannot apply things you don't even understand.
Yeah.
And everything is built on the previous level before it. So you have remembering, you have understanding, you have application, then you have analysis,
Hmm.
then you have evaluation, and at the top, you have creation. Once you're able to create things, you have all the other levels before it. And that is how a teacher can tell that you know what you're doing.
Mm.
Creating a science project in second grade, even at your level, showed that you mastered whatever it was. Of course, people have their parents help them, and all of the cheats and
The
stuff.
cheat
But
codes.
yeah. But hey,
Yeah.
That's built in. That's understood. But
Yeah.
that's why you had to come in class and explain what it was too, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think this and I have it up here. I want to go through it, in detail, but like at the top of the period, the pyramid is the creation, that's why I'm so focused on, when I was asking you, I'm like, what do you want to create,
Right.
because
Right.
that's what we're working towards. It's like, okay, first we got to extract it and remember it, then understand it. And
Right.
understanding it is we do it by reformulating,
Right.
you it's like we did a meta summarization on a thing about summarization just right
Yeah.
there,
Mm-hmm.
and so we
Mm-hmm.
like converted that to understanding. And then, what we're getting moving towards is actually creating and applying it.
Correct.
And
Correct.
and I think the point that I was making on the we're going to make on that how to read a book is, I've shifted from there was a after reading the how to read a book, I
Mhm.
practiced that what he said, and I would just spend 2 hours reading and then not taking notes. And it was
Right.
actually it was something I kind of want to experiment again at some point. But what I found to be better is to kind of treat it as, I think, what he was calling like the skimming reading, or the analytical reading, is like the first read through is I went through this book in like only like maybe a day or two or something like that,
Nice.
but like I read it in
Did you
every
get
single
it like from
page.
Amazon or like in a
Yeah,
bookstore?
Amazon, I got
Okay.
it from. Yeah. But what I was doing is I was like reading it towards just to select and selecting brief. I didn't want to get slowed down, and
Hmm.
that's one of the things that I think you should, keep in mind, is because what you're going to discover is that so much of the time is dedicated to the stuff that takes the most brain energy is the stuff of processing it and turning it into a main note. So
Right.
you want to keep your bib card notes, pretty brief, and you want
Hmm.
to save all of your time for the creating that main note, the
Right.
main cards, and start building that section out. So that section on study skills, which is 5110, for you, that's what is going to become, the basis of your course. Uh,
So if I let's say I do a 2 hour reading session and I don't take any notes,
mhm.
that's when flagging certain things and coming back to them would come in handy. And then after that 2 hour session, everything that I flagged becomes a bib note.
Um, well, what I like to do is I like to write. Here's how I read is I'll get a pen. I always have a pen. So I always read like this, and this is how Lumen did too. I found like I don't know if you've seen that video, but I found that video of Lumen reading in the sun, and he had like a bib
Yep.
card in his book. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
with
So
the cards in the book.
yep.
Yeah.
So I just read like this. Like this acts as my bookmark as well,
Okay.
But
Right.
this is the bib card, and I read like that. And then when I come across something that like I try to lately, it's like I try to make the book actually really force me and prove itself that it's like I have to write it down. So maybe I'll like,
Right.
I'll read it and then I'll go like maybe 3 or 4 pages, or maybe finish the session or something, and then I'll go back and be like, you know
Mhm.
what, that's too good not to include on this thing, and I'll
Right.
just write a brief little passage or word on it, and then what I like to do normally is I don't like to go like I've kind of gone too far in this book without processing it. I'm in the middle of like installing all of these into the main box.
Yep.
But yeah, after a 2 hour session, I like to install and convert them to main cards, from there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then is your bibliography box, you nailed, right? Like you have that organized alphabetically, right?
I'm good. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
I'm
Oh,
good with that.
you've got the whole foundation now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah,
You
yeah.
got me set up. I'm
Okay.
good.
Hell yeah. I love
Um,
it.
I had it just waiting for
Yes.
the finishing touches and just the direction. Now that you got me straight with the
I
index,
I have a feeling your main box is gonna be pretty filled up, but before
man,
I know it,
man, Man,
Yeah,
thank you
I
so
love
much.
it.
God.
Yeah.
Thank
Well, yeah, my I can feel. Can you still hear me? By the way.
I can hear you.
Okay,
It's
cool. My
dying.
my battery, yeah, just which is it's fine because we've already gone like 2 hours here,
Yeah. If
but
you want to cut off the recording, I want to tell you something.
yeah, cool.
All
All
right.
right. Well, thanks, Deli, and let me I'll turn off the recording right now. And before I do though, hopefully we'll see you in the Antinet community and all
I'll
that
be
stuff.
there.
Yeah,
I'll be
cool.
there. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
sweet.
Thank
All
you
right, let me
so
turn this
much.
off.